Can I be a proud American while also being critical of the country? Sounds corny, but it's something that I struggle to rationalize when I think about it. I'm a black veteran, but I feel torn by my views towards America. On the one hand, I'm proud to be born and raised here, and to partake in stereotypical American pastimes like BBQs, 4th of July, Thanksgiving, apple pie, going to baseball games, etc. Hid in my room. I was about 5. I thought it was illegal to keep the lights on in the car until I was like 14. My parents are liars, LMAO, rolling on the floor laughing. The 21st of December 2012, the world will end. That turning off the lights takes more energy than leaving them on. So leaving them on is more energy efficient. Old roommate's way of thinking. Marilyn Manson getting ribs removed so he could give himself blowies. The constant rumor that drug dealers will give them to kids for free. Personally, I think the dumbest thing is the Earth being flat. I'm talking about people who believe it's flat now. With all the pictures and video evidence out there. I can understand people knowing several hundred years ago, but to think it's flat today is bonkers. My son still believes that the large round hay bales wrapped in white plastic are marshmallows and come from marshmallow farms. I may or may not have had something to do with this. Babies feel no pain, and they believed that until the 1970s, so they would experiment on babies up until then because they didn't feel pain. Scary. Many things, but one that springs to mind is, when the movie came out, the amount of people who thought that Rose and Jack were real characters on the actual Titanic. Y'all remember that green worm on a string that Toys R Us used to sell? The idea that giving large tax cuts to the wealthy would result in money trickling down to the middle and lower classes. Eating carrots improves your night vision. WW2 propaganda was so good many people still believe this. You only utilize 10 of the brain. Kim Kardashian's ass. That animals don't feel pain, emotion, or aren't sentient. People who firmly believe that are terrible and use it as an excuse to mistreat animals. Your dog went to a farm. I like that people thought that Spinal Tap was a real band. Open mouth smile. JFK Jr. being alive is one of the more idiotic things I've seen recently. Astrology. It appeared in many different civilizations as well. Furries in American schools demanding to pee in kitty litter. Havana syndrome. Fentanyl kills cops by induction. Generally anything they see on TikTok and think is real and not a staged scenario. Prank, etc. That their kids are going to get plucked off the street in the suburbs and sold into sex by Democrats in pizza shop basements. That the 2020 election was rigged or stolen somehow. When I was a kid, I was persuaded by some other kid that I could combine my Nintendo games by cutting the cartridges in half and gluing them together. Fortunately, I got older and wiser instead of making the attempt. That kids are being force-taught CRT and being turned gay in classrooms. Canon. Boy, I know this is going to start some arguments. Embarrassing. But I totally fell for the faux documentary about mermaids that was on Discovery like 10 years ago. I was so excited, haha. I thought pickles were their own breed of vegetable till I was about 24. That blood-drinking pedophile lizards run the world. Power that comes with being a Reddit mod. A lot of people fall for the scams around a company selling you a device you plug into an outlet in your home and it reduces your electricity bill. You'd honestly be surprised how many people have paid money for these and even swear by them even though it's 100% snake oil and incredibly dumb to think it would do anything. The War of the Worlds radio broadcast by Orson Welles in 1938 where a load of Americans thought it was real and we were being invaded by aliens. Loads called the police and newspapers in a panic. Strange but true. That trickle-down economics works, we just need to give it enough time. I thought the movie The Fourth Kind was 100% real and I was a grown-ass woman in my mid-20s. I left the theater in shock wondering why the whole thing wasn't some big-ass huge deal. Like breaking news. Lol. Obama is both a terrible Christian for leaving his pastor of 2 decades because Obama supported equal rights for gays. A Muslim. The American justice system. That's not a roach, that's a water bug. That Iraq had WMD. The idea that intense pressure, stressful hardship, etc., brings out the best in people. That leads to some really strange conclusions. For example, legitimizing low pay and unsafe work conditions, abusive bosses and teachers, even child abuse or general domestic violence. Yet if you insist that nobody has the right to impose these abuses, exploitations, and being forced into unsafe conditions, then you're effectively admitting that harsh pressure and treatment does not bring out the best in people after all. So around 15-20 years ago a hoax went around the world that Kel from Kenan and Kel died. He didn't. He even came out to say he's not, but people were not having it. Bizarre. Homeopathy. It's just water and the placebo effect. End of story. Someone I worked with thought lions and tigers were the same species. But lions were the males and tigers were female. She was a university graduate. That your blood is actually blue when it's in your veins. That Richard Gere actually had a gerbil up his ass because someone's cousin's cousin knew the wife of the doctor who got it out. SPC and Slenderman. Flat Earth. That Elvis is still alive. MSG causes headaches and hyperactivity in children. Gum stays in your stomach for 7 years. You have to whisper when fishing because you'll scare the fish away. The definition of insanity is repeating the same task but expecting different results. Going swimming right after you eat will cause a leg cramp and you'll drown. Thanksgiving turkey has tryptophan that makes you sleepy. Birds. That mermaid documentary on the Discovery Channel a few years back. I had a friend who legitimately believed it. Moon landing being hoaxed, flat Earth, other dumb conspiracies. For 28 years I was afraid to turn the light on inside the car because as a child I was told we'd get in trouble with the police and get pulled over if we did that. Thanks, Dad. My Korean cousins were convinced jackalopes were real after visiting Arizona. 2012 End of world. My whole school was speculating our demise. Donald Trump was a good president. National politicians caring about the lives of everyday people. The thought that any government truly cares about its people. That radioactivity was good for your health and started putting it everywhere. Including toothpaste, or did uranium-enriched glassware so it would glow in the dark. A flat Earth.